Okay. Oh, great. Okay, great. Welcome to the September 22nd Capitola City Council meeting of 2022, 7 p.m. Well, we're a little bit past, so we will start with roll call.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Sanders.
Thank you.
Councilmember Bertrand.
Present.
Councilmember Brown.
Present.
Councilmember Brooks.
Here.
And Mayor Story is absent. Vice Mayor Kaiser.
Here.
And so.
So before we do the Pledge of Allegiance, Mayor Story is not able to be here. He's bringing his daughter to college at Washington State. So congrats to the Story family. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. You all join. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And item 2, do we have any additions or deletions?
Staff has no changes to the agenda this evening.
All right. And we will move on to presentations. Today, I am, by the behalf of Mayor Story, I am honoring Director Steve Jesberg. He has been our Public Works Director for over 2 decades, 21 years to be exact, almost to the date. Director Jesberg, he's the longest-termed Public Works Director, and he's done an outstanding job leading the Public Works for as long as he has, providing lots of safety, good staffing, equipment, and above all, everyday communication. He has completed numerous of significant projects here. They continue to serve our community. The most recent one, the huge library project, which is amazing, the jetty, the flume, McGregor Park, Capitola Bandstand, and the list goes on, and even just to every day-to-day issues within the village and surrounding areas that I'm sure he was inundated with many times. He was honored in 2017 by the Capitola Soquel Chamber of Commerce as the Man of the Year, and on behalf of the City Council, our city staff, and our entire community, I do hereby commend and thank Steve Jesberg for over 2 decades of excellent and dedicated service to our city.
Here's the mic.
Over here. Oh, sorry. That's your seat.
Yeah.
That works too. You can talk to people. You want to go over there? Yeah, come up here. Sure. I should have brought that with me, sorry.
Wow. Thank you all for being really nice. Half that for those. I'll forget people's regret, but for those of you at the last retirement speech here, from the police department, my goal tonight is to do better than Sergeant Sloan. Good goal. You're already there. So this is a very bittersweet decision for me. Been here, I've been here 21 years. It's been a wonderful adventure. I'm very happy with the time I spent here, and I will certainly miss it. I'm also excited to see what the future holds. I'd like to thank this council. You've been wonderful to work for. You've been very supportive, getting us to the library project. It's difficult, the work projects as they go forward, so thank you. I'd also like to thank all the other council members that aren't here anymore, no longer on council. And a shout out to certain former council comprised of Gail Ortiz, Stephanie Carlin, Tony Gualtieri, Bruce Arthur, and Dennis Norton, who was mayor at that time, who on September 27, 2001, approved my first contract. Back in the days when the council had approved department head contracts. So they started the ball rolling, and I appreciate their support. Amy, thank you for all your support over the years, and excellent for the forecast. The other department heads, Katie, Jim, Andy, Nikki, Chloe, thank you. I appreciate working with you all. We've gone through a lot together. We've got through COVID together. I think we've made it through outdoor dining together. So thank you. To all the city staff that are here, or the finance department, police department, it's been great working with you, and I really appreciate all that effort. To the public works crew, I know there's a couple Matt who's here, Nathan's here, and anybody else on this. Sorry. You guys are what public works is all about. And the council gets recognition and praise of public works because of what you guys do to keep the city clean and safe. So thank you both, and thank the rest of the crew that aren't here for your ongoing efforts in keeping the city functioning as well as you do. And to the crew in the office with me, Danny, Ed, and Kailash, thanks for keeping it fun, guys. I appreciate it. Then we make the whole team, and I couldn't do it without you guys, so thank you. Next is the community. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve the community over 21 years. Lots of good projects gotten done, a lot of support from the residents and businesses that we've gone through it. So it's been a great experience, as I said, and I think doing it without the community smart, that's a big advantage of working capital. My first 14 years I was with the County of Santa Cruz Public Works Department, big bureaucracy, don't get to meet people, very little interaction with the public. So coming here is great, and getting to know residents, business owners, and working with them on very efficient, great. Finally, to my wife, Michelle, 36 years of marriage. Thank you for all your support. And excited to see what our future has. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Steve. Council, does anybody want to say anything? Jacques?
You know, I told Steve I wasn't going to say anything, and he said, thank you. So, I just want to add a little bit to what you said. You've been here a long time. And you'd think if you didn't work so well with people, and you've been working within the County of Santa Cruz for a long time, too. I forgot how many years before you just mentioned. I bring up that I've worked with Steve, and, well, I can't really say that honestly because I don't work in this department, but, you know, we interchange things, ideas and such like that. Always welcomes me into his office. Doesn't kick me out. But anyway, that's great. But the thing I'm trying to get to is everyone that seems to know you has a great story about you. You know, these are people that haven't worked here in Capitola, you know, so you're well known around this county. And I think that's a great thing. It speaks a lot about you. And I know you know that, but I just thought I'd say it in public, and we'll miss you, definitely.
Thank you.
Steve, man, how many projects have I brought your way in the last 4 years? So many, and you never have said no. You've hesitated a little bit, but you both certainly have gotten the job done, from our coming on in 2018 with the funding for our wharf, to paving our streets, to those darn ballers. You really, really have done such a tremendous job, and thank you so much. You make my job easier because I can pick up the phone and just say, hey, this is what I'm hearing from the community, and you make it happen, and I really, truly appreciate all of your time here, and I do wish you and your wife the best in your new journey, so thank you so much.
Steve, thank you so much for all of your years of service. I can't tell you how many times I've had questions. Well, I guess I don't need to tell you because I came to you with my questions. And then again, later when I forgot the answer and couldn't find my notes, and you were always so kind in providing me with the information I needed. You've never hesitated to welcome us, and I think I speak for all of us, to welcome us into your office, either virtually or literally in the before times, to share your knowledge and help us better understand the complex details of the decisions that we were making. And I can truly say that I would not have been able to make so many of the decisions that we've had to make as council members without having spoken with you first and getting your guidance and your knowledge and your feedback. And I'm just so grateful for that. And I know that all of the city is grateful for having you in your leadership in all of these years. And I'm really excited, hopefully to continue to hear about the great things that you do and the great times that you and your wife are yet to build in the years to come.
Yeah, Steve, I have been with you the least amount of time here out of everybody, but last night too, I know I said the same thing, but there was no question that went unanswered. Anything you brought to Steve, he either would figure out the answer or just knew it off the top of his head, and I'm like, okay, wow. And it just, I think it just breaks down into your communication skills too. You're always willing to respond and give a lot of information about each and every project, and not many people can say that. And so it's been a huge pleasure working with you and all the intricacies of the Public Works Department, and so happy for you. Good luck. Yeah. Does staff have any comments?
I just wanted to take a quick moment. We do have an event planned, but I just want to say at this point how much of an honor it's been to be able to work with these people over the years. The different things we've been through. It sort of boggles the mind to think back to pandemic and floods and libraries and so many different disasters, and we've always found a way through it together. Taught me so much, and so great working with you. Congratulations.
Do I go out to anybody else? Is there anybody in attendance that wants to say anything? Okay, great. We are moving along. We have item number 2, which is additional materials.
Yes, thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thanks.
There were several received, so there was one received regarding this presentation, one for item 5B, and then 6 additional materials for item 6B. And those that were not distributed are on the dais and in the back of the room.
Great. Okay, now we can open up the floor to oral communications for members of the public if they wish to speak on anything that's not on tonight's agenda. You are given a 3-minute time cap if there's anybody that has communications for this evening. Hi, welcome.
My name is Debbie Sheehan, and I'm the president of the Mid-County Senior Center. I'm coming to introduce myself. I'm a long time, born and raised here, a long time resident. Both my parents were born and raised here. And I have deep roots in this community. I've lived in Lido forever. And I wanted to reach out to you and let you know that the Mid-County Senior Center is looking to grow its membership. And also, I would like us to grow our involvement in the community. So to that end, we've reached out to Red Cross. We now have Red Cross blood drives. We've had 3. After last week, I got to do a meet with my arm there. In my butt. Trying to encourage them to do some stuff. Bought 2 business cards. They have the senior center phone number, the email, and they have the cell on there as my personal. If you call them, they'll direct to the president. I'd be very happy to work with anyone from any specialist. Anything that comes up after about how to grow our center, grow our connection with the community, for our participation with the community. Please do let me know. That's a big goal that I have that I'd like to try to accomplish. I've got a question.
Doc, go ahead, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I did have a question, please. My wife keeps suggesting, with a kick or two, that I sign up for the dance courses you have. And I think she wants me to take her too, but I'm a lousy dancer. So is it true you have great dance classes? I've been hearing this.
And I didn't bring a newsletter with me like I should have, so, you're welcome to look on our website, and the website is on here, so I'll give you a card, a new website. And, or to stop by anytime and pick up a newsletter. But yes, we have dances every week, every Friday, we have dance classes, thankfully. Every time we have dance classes right before a dance. And we take all levels of dancers. So if you have 6 left feet, that's still okay. Come on in and practice a little bit and then show your wife what you can do, and I guess she loves it, which is one of our dances. And they're very casual. Never have enough men, so a lot of dancers and couples or women dancing together. Lots of them are, especially the country and the line dancing, is just open, anybody can dance with anyone. We have waltzes, we have ballroom, country line dancing. We also have block dance. All of that you can check on our website or come into our newsletter.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Okay, thank you.
We have a very good time. So whoever I could lead you. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you, and I hope folks start attending the meeting and what you know in front of you.
Great, we'll look forward to seeing you. Any other members of the public? Oh, that's right. Are there anybody on Zoom, any attendees, or anybody with their hands raised? Cody.
I do see one person.
Oh, great,
Janet, I'm going to allow you to speak.
great, thank you.
I believe I accidentally muted you. I apologize.
Okay. I just want the council to know that the traffic on 41st at Claire's and 41st has been very bad, with people stopping in the middle of the intersection as they're trying to go northbound onto 41st. There haven't been any accidents, but there's quite a bit of frustration about what's going on there. That's all.
Thank you, Janet. Are there any other Zoom hands? Okay. Great, all right, that will take us to item 4. Any staff comments?
We do. We have a few comments for you this evening. And the first one is we just celebrated Steve's retirement, and I'm here to announce that we have a new Public Works Director who's been named for the city, Jessica Kahn. She will be attending our next meeting, and we'll be introducing you to her then and to the community.
Great, thank you.
And I think comments from Steve and from Nikki as well.
Vice Mayor, council members. I am here to talk about, for the public as well as the council, our upcoming Mayor for a Day essay contest. The essay submissions are currently open. Anybody that wants to make a submission can find that information on the city's website. The deadline for that essay submission is on September 30th. So we invite all elementary and middle school students to write an essay that would tell the city, if you were the mayor of Capitola, what would you do? The winners that are selected, both in the elementary division and the middle school division, will attend one of the upcoming council meetings in October. Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions?
Oh, yeah.
Nikki, I just have a question. Will they be allowed to sit up here on the dais?
Well, we haven't actually had to make that decision just yet. It's something that we can entertain, but we would definitely be presenting them with recognition for winning the essay contest.
Okay. Well, they don't have to go through the whole meeting, maybe. Okay.
We don't want to scare them away from.
Yeah, we don't want to scare them away yet. Okay.
As you're aware, this weekend, the Capitol Beach Festival will be occurring. A regular part of that festival includes the invited boat parade. Unfortunately, due to the heavy rains we had on Sunday, we've had water quality issues in the lagoon, requiring drainage to keep the fish healthy. And I met today with the festival organizers, and their decision has been made to cancel the lighted boat parade this year. It is still going to have decorated floats. They are going to be placed on the beach, behind the seawall along the Esplanade. So fans of the 10 people who attend the festival will be able to watch them being built on the beach there, and then rather than the floats going by, people will walk by the floats and that way this year. A freak occurrence, but unfortunately, I'd like to thank the committee. They were very easy to work with and understood the problems with it, and they came up with great solutions.
Great. Thank you for working that out. All right. Any city council comments? Doc?
Yeah, I have something that came to my attention, and I'd like to call on Katie Hurley to give some comments. And the issue I'm thinking about is what's going on at InShape. Their pool's been closed for some time, and a lot of the members are not able to enjoy a normal swim. And so I reached out to management at InShape and found out that in any given day, 600 or more people use that pool. And this is the main part of their, exercise and part of their life. They hang out around the pool and talk to all their neighbors and stuff like that. So I did reach out to our staff, and I'd like to know if you could give some comments about what's happening in terms of the permit that they've applied for, and sort of give us an idea of what they're trying to do.
So, InShape has gotten comments back on their permit, and they've gotten comments for our building department and environmental. The comments are not large changes. The amended. So then we will be reviewing those plans and hopefully so they're in the building permit stage, and once they get.
So, sounds like it's moving along. What do you think the time frame is?
The only time frame that I have as an estimate right now is that they plan on completing by the end of the week. They're a really large firm that works on pool applications, and so that they're hoping to have it in by the end of the week.
Okay.
And after that, our turnaround time, usually for resubmittal, is also
Okay. Well, it sounds like it's moving along, and I hope people here could pass it on to people in the public, and I hope those who are in the public could sort of feel that we're doing our job. And thanks very much, Katie.
Thank you. Any other council comments?
Yeah, I have a quick comment.
Yeah.
I just wanted to share, through my role as the president of the Association of Monterey Bay Area Governments, we recently received a letter from Senator Ana Caballero congratulating AMBAG for an award of about $1 million. It's a little more than $1 million from the California Department of Housing and Community Development to be used for outreach and identifying eligible uses that strengthen communities that were disproportionately impacted by the pandemic, and to better identify the location and characteristics of these impacted households and target sub-allocation projects to serve community members. So it's exciting news. This, of course, is funding that will go throughout the AMBAG jurisdiction, which is the 3 counties, Santa Cruz, Monterey, and San Benito, but of course, being as part of Santa Cruz County, of course, we will see the benefits as well. So I just wanted to share that.
Wow, congratulations. Anything from Yvette? All right. All right, so that'll take us to item number 5 for consent. Do any council members wish to pull an item? Seeing none. There's 3 items on the consent, so they will be moved in one motion together. Right. On consent, or do we not go to consent?
You don't need to actually, that's
Okay.
covered with the public comment.
Oh, okay, that's okay. Keeping you on your toes. Thank you, I appreciate it. Anyone care to
I will move the
motion?
consent calendar.
Thank you, I'm like.
I'll second.
Okay.
I was sitting next to you, you'd kick me just like one.
All right. So we have a movement and a second. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Bertrand.
I agree.
Councilmember Brown.
Aye.
Councilmember Brooks.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Snyder.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, moving on to item number 6, general government. So we will go to item A, which was an appeal of 1410 Prospect Avenue design permit. And the recommended action is to uphold the Planning Commission's decision to approve the variance and to adopt a resolution with additional conditions of approval and findings that address the matter appealed. We have a presentation.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks. Good evening.
The item before you this evening is an appeal of a 0-foot rear yard setback variance at 1410 Prospect Avenue. On April 7, 2022, the Planning Commission approved the design permit, historic alteration permit, variance, and coastal development permit for a new home at 1410 Prospect Avenue. Slideshow shows the approved site plan with property lines in red. Here in yellow shows the footprint as the garage and the home. And that area in blue shows a portion of the home that is located in the rear setback. The applicant was granted a variance to allow a 0-foot setback on that rear line. Backyard is adjacent to the RTC railway and the existing pathway as well, which is shown further south of Brown. On April 18th, 2022, the city received an appeal from the Santa Cruz County Regional Transportation Commission. The RTC appealed the Planning Commission's decision, granting a variance for a 0-foot rear setback and listed concerns, including potential to interfere with the RTC's uses, operations, inspections, and maintenance, to constrain public access, to increase erosion, and to reduce stability of the bluff. August 18th, 2022, the city's independent peer review of the owner's geotechnical investigation was completed by Pacific Crest Engineering. Pacific Crest Engineering concluded that the original geotechnical investigation was adequate and that no additional study should be required. On August 31st, 2022, the applicant submitted revised plans which relocated the proposed structure 3 feet away from the rear property line, which is also away from the RTC property. Follow-up response, the RTC submitted a letter of general satisfaction with the modified design and conditions of approval. Those conditions of approval have been modified or added to address the RTC concerns. This slide lists the conditions of approval which were added or modified, which are relevant to the appeal. Full list of conditions are included in a draft resolution as attachment 9, found on page 158 of the packet. Property owner has addressed the concerns of the RTC. Staff recommends the City Council adopt the additional conditions of approval as drafted and shown in the underline that address the issues raised in the appeal.
Thank you. Questions, Chuck?
Yeah, a lot of people probably don't know, but I'm on the RTC Commission, and I brought this issue up to RTC staff. One of the issues that was of concern to me was the lack of communication. There were some issues in terms of notifying RTC of the plans that were impending and in the development. I did not investigate further. I just wanted to have this be aware, from the RTC perspective. So I was wondering, can you comment on what I just brought up in terms of communication? And I don't know if you were involved in this particular program at the time, so I'm just trying to get an idea of the communication issues, which was very important because RTC it was a last minute thing from RTC's standpoint, and so I don't know how this occurred, so thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. So we send out notices to all properties within 300 feet. So one of our green postcards, we just went back and we checked, it was RTC. A large organization and where those green cards may end up, I'm not sure. But we did go back and make sure that there was also communication by the resident directly to the RTC as well as so prior to. I will say the communication since the appeal has been excellent. Property owner is here this evening if you have any questions. And but they even today the RTC reached out thanking John and the neighbors for all the effort put forth. We will make sure in future circumstances when there is development next to the RTC. We're all really good friends now after working through this, and we know who to contact. So I think in the future we will be on the green card. First time we did too, so we'll open that line of communication.
Okay, yeah, I did spend a lot of time with the director of the RTC and the staff person that has this particular project, and I think he was a little surprised, but it was COVID, so I don't know where the mix-up was, but I'm glad to see that it was worked out, and I also do know you gave me a lot of attention on this issue as well. We talked about it, so I'm glad it was resolved, and I do have questions of the owners, if I may. How do you feel about the resolution? Because I walk past your property all the time. I take the little path, and when I first saw the initial plans and how it just seemed perfect. But this resolution seems pretty good. What's your feeling, you and your wife?
This is my wife Amy, and along with our architect Derek Alstein, and Alex Johnson. And for us, number one, it's been quite a journey to get here. We've been in the house about 3 years right now. Lucky to have it through COVID, but it's been a little dilapidated. It's old. It needs to be updated. So we're really excited. In full support of the resolution. I think we worked really hard. And I'd just like to commend the staff of all the hard work they did to get us here. It's been super great. And, like you said, maybe the beginning side, when I opened up conversations with the RTC, it was a little disconnected, but I think the loop closed and we're in a good place now. So thank you.
Okay, thanks. It's good to hear. Thanks for the resolution from staff. And, well, no one's here from RTC, but I know they probably worked very hard with you too. Thank you.
Also do have someone from the RTC.
Oh, I didn't see. On Zoom.
Right here, Jean.
Oh, hi. Hi, Sarah. How you doing?
I just want to say a few words. Thank you, Commissioner Bertrand, for bringing this to our attention. We are a small staff, but we carry a very large load. I say that we're lean and mean, and sometimes things like this fall through the cracks. So I wanted to say thank you, Commissioner Bertrand. Also wanted to say thank you to the City of Capitola planning staff. They've been stellar. This is the second really positive experience I've had with them in the last month. And I just want to let you guys know that your staff works really hard, and we've developed a really nice partnership, and I don't think this is going to happen again. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other questions? Any public comment on item 6A? All right. And then any other city council comments on the,
I'll go ahead and move item 6A with staff recommendation to uphold the planning commission decision to approve the variance and adopt a resolution with additional conditions of approval and findings that address the matter.
I'll second.
great, we have a motion and a second. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Brown,
Aye.
Councilmember Brooks,
Aye.
Councilmember Bertrand,
I agree.
Vice Mayor Kaiser.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, and down to item 6B, consider the petition to create a dogs off-leash area at Monterey Avenue Park. The recommended action here is to take no action. So basically maintaining the existing rules requiring the dogs to remain on leash at Monterey Park due to the existing uses. Do we have a?
Give me a minute here.
Okay, thanks, Steve.
Yeah.
Yes.
I live too close to the project being discussed, so I'm going to recuse myself and then come back later.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. In a little bit.
The other room open? I'll just sit now.
Really making Steve do a lot of presentations at a
On the
town
last
meeting.
day. Yeah.
Here we go. Good evening, Vice Mayor and Council. As the agenda says, we are here tonight considering a petition to allow some off-leash dog activity in Monterey Avenue Park. Quick background on the petition. The council received the petition for off-leash dog, petitions asking for a trial period of 90 days. Off-leash period would be between 5:30 and 6:30 each evening. All dog owners would must pay attention to their dogs and ensure that does not bother any persons that may be at the park at that time. All dog owners must commit to cleaning up after their dogs. And dogs will not be allowed to interfere with ongoing activities in the park, for example, baseball, etc. This also included this, if requested, we could set up a temporary expandable fence at the back of the park to separate our dogs from a larger group using the field. So here's an overhead of Monterey Park. Monterey Avenue is up here on the left-hand corner. Also, there's not really a diamond, where softball and Little League practices occurred in softball games. So anyway, the blue X here represents, the general area that the petitioners are asking to be able to occupy as a off-leash area. Just our existing codes, 6.14-200 talks about dogs in public spaces. I've highlighted kind of the pertinent issues here, that dogs are permitted on leash in the following parks, and that includes Monterey Avenue. If you read back into the code a little further, it says dogs are not permitted anywhere on city property except for these exceptions here, which include Monterey Park. Existing off-leash dog areas, the city only has one permitted area, that is at McGregor Park. McGregor Drive is about a mile away from Monterey Park. Existing park uses, New Brighton Middle School uses it during the school sessions, obviously from Monday through Friday from 8 p.m. to 4 p.m. During the day when classes are, they use it for PE on a daily basis. They also use it for their athletics after school. They play soccer there and softball. They run track there too. After the school's done using it at 4 o'clock, youth and soccer leagues rent the field through our recreation department. Obviously, it depends on what season's going on at that time, who's running it. There was quite a lag during COVID, obviously, because nobody was finding those, but they do rent the field during the seasons from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. There's no scheduled uses on Sundays. So our recommendation is just given there's so much use there, areas are tight, unless we can create a well-defined fenced area that is really going to be problematic to create, allow a permitted off-leash area. So that's our recommendation, would be take no action to maintain the existing rules at the park. But we do have options if the council wants to consider them. These are contained in the agenda report. Council wants to increase the number of off-leash dog areas in the city. Staff suggests establishing this as a future goal in this budget setting and goal setting session come up in May. Council wants to proceed with proposed dog leash, off-leash dog area at Monterey Avenue Park. Staff would recommend that we prepare a resolution and bring it back to council that would suspend municipal code 6.14.200, designate an area where off-leash dogs are permitted, and establish some rules and guidelines that would be posted there on this one. That is the extent of my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Good question. If we're suspending the entire municipal code, would that suspend the requirement to keep dogs on leash in all of the other areas that are currently listed in that code as a required?
No, that's why we want to do it by resolution, so we can specifically identify which portions of the code.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, another question. Have the folks who have petitioned come forward with any other ideas or suggestions that could be talked about? Should we establish this as a goal of council?
They haven't presented anything to me, but I do believe they're in the attendance committee.
Okay.
I don't know if this is a question for you or those petitioning, but was there discussion of, like, who would be responsible for the fence? Would that be on us, or would that be a public effort?
That's one thing that needs to get developed, and putting up a,
Yeah.
I think would be a quite lengthy,
Yeah.
expandable fence would take quite a bit of time, and to be able to put up and take them down every night seems difficult at best, so,
Okay.
the petitioners could answer better.
Okay. Yeah. Who from the petitioners would like to speak, maybe answer Yvette's question as far as?
Yeah, we can just move to public comment.
Okay. We'll move straight into public comment.
Council, my name is David Gilbert. I'm the original author of the petition, and I'd just like to make a couple comments. As far as the impact on the community goes, it's been wonderful. I think I've even written correspondence told about how very unanticipated but tight-knit neighborhood group has developed because all of us are together. Regarding the area in particular, I think there is an adoption by the city of Cupertino, the Stelling Avenue, the park, and the dog off-leash area. And I forwarded the city code and how to modify it to effectively have in their instance, a 2-hour period per day, an hour before sunset, an hour after sunset, year-round, in a specific quadrant of Stelling Park, where dogs are permitted off-leash. And it's tightly monitored. And I discovered this petition after I discovered this situation after I petitioned the regional city council. So it is achievable, particularly even in a high-density community like Cupertino. As dog owners go, we're very responsible. We're constantly watching our dogs to ensure that if there are any activities in the park that our dogs don't interfere. I think showed the portion of the park is the furthest away from the baseball diamond and the et cetera. So the temporary fence was a suggestion in my original petition that if it was required, it would be a temporary fencing, that the handle kind of just drag out of space. That was an issue. Obviously, it's a reasonably decent-sized area that we'd be going to explore how we could do that. personal preference would be to adopt the Cupertino model, which simply says all dog owners, no exception, are responsible for their dogs, cleaning up after them for safety. So I'd very much like the city council to approve this, to move forward with it, and if successful, we could then modify it per the existing one.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, my name is Tejan Kamalani. I've been a resident of Santa Cruz for 20 years and can't talk. I think the easy thing to do is to show you like really cute pictures of our dogs and say they're really nice, good dogs. And I don't know how this would ever show up on the website. You can give you the packet. They really love playing with each other, and I think it's different than just, just going on a walk. It's very different, right? And I could do this, but I'm not going to, because they're very cute dogs and whatnot. What I really want to talk about is the sense of community. And this is my son with not our dog, but a different dog. And socialization that happens for the kids as well as for the dogs is super healthy. As you see, we're illegal here, but I've got permission from all the owners in this picture. They've been willing to get photographic of their dogs, but it's a very, all the owners are conscientious. And what I want to say is it's really easy to say no. There's a lot of reasons to say no. There's liability, the dog gets to get down, there's control, whatever. I think, but let's not do that. I really implore you guys to let's stretch our brains and try to make this work. And the reason why is this: I feel like if anything the pandemic's shown us, it's that we need community, right? We need each other and we need socialization. I've met people through this group. I originally met this group, I didn't know this group existed. I had vertigo for the last 6 months. So my only social outlet was to go take my dog out. And I met this nice group of people. And everybody has their own reason for it, but that social isolation, I think we've all seen that COVID is hurtful. It's hurtful to everybody. And it's brought people together that would otherwise not come together. We from different walks of work. There's physicians, there's nurses, there's teachers, there's educators, there's construction workers. Well, there's kids of all ages. There's all my kids. There's retirees. So this is a really nice social gathering. I think it's a medium for it. I think we need it. The other thing that I would challenge people to do is force us to work together, and let's all work together. I think today's society there's so much polarization in our world. Where this lack of the stability has been gone. But you only get to practice that and learn that when you're in a situation where you have to, hey, your dog, can you take care of your dog that's getting a little aggressive or whatnot. Let's get people talking and meeting. I've met more neighbors through this in my little community than I would care to meet. I have my, school mom friends. I have kids that go to New Brighton, Main Street. I've gone through the school system. But this is a different group of people. And I will leave you with this because I only have 7 seconds. I'm going to leave you with these pictures of this. This is actually my daughter. Another friend of hers that she met. One of our dog park people, actually, this gal was visiting from Ukraine. Her family got isolated, and she had some cake together. And she said, hey, can your daughter come? Because they had met through the dog group. I leave you with these pictures of these birds that painted together. And this would have never happened otherwise. Now raising her meals, so she's doing a meal replacement. So they're just things that just wouldn't happen otherwise.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope that we can figure out a way to do this, even if it's a trial period. That's all we have.
Hi, welcome.
Hi. Council meeting, I feel very responsible as a citizen right now. My name is Jane Stewart. I've been a resident of Pensacola for about 6 years now, and I've become the I became a dog mom about 4 months ago for the first time, and my life changed. And I realized from walking him around my neighborhood that I was meeting my neighbors for the first time because I have this thing that was breaking the ice, and suddenly I had more community around me. When I met the folks over at Monterey Park, I didn't know it at the time, but I was making a whole new group of friends with my neighbors. It's incredible how important they've become in my day-to-day life in just a short time. So, psychological effects of being outside in the sun, taking care of your pet, are enormous. The developmental effects for dogs, the effect that it has on their demeanor and growth is enormous. I know that dog would like to play and touch all over this technically the dog park, but it's next to a skate park and a hallway. And if you guys are dog owners, I'm sure you understand how, and they're so stressed out being there that they can't play. So this park has become an alternative, and I've only witnessed responsible parenting of dogs in this location. And so I just think 1 hour a day, if we can have that 1 hour a day, see how it goes, a long way to establish this community and being able to grow what we've already started in terms of community out into community at large.
Thank you. Good evening.
I'm Dan Steiner. I've lived in my wife Lisa across Monterey Avenue, Park Board. And what I like, I understand it's a very busy park. I get that, but we also water a dog over there. A little upset I didn't see a picture. My point is, I watch very closely what goes on over there, and if there's a lot of soccer, a lot of activity, we don't take our dogs over there. We wait until it's quiet. Most of the time we go over there, the park is empty just before dark. That's the point I'd like to bring. Great socialization for parents of these dogs and the dogs. It's just fun. And if we can just give this a temporary shot, you'll find that we can make this work.
Thank you. Hi.
I'm Ginger. I've been for about 15 years and kept about 6 to leave the house. She's a working, but like I had to come and represent working dog in our community. It's not all dogs, they're just home all day. I'm working dog in Capitola. I work at Dominican and Ham. Amazing how much they give my team. This is the dog teacher and I've been going to that park for about 5 years now, and the community is amazing. What I've seen there is elderly people that don't even have dogs come out around that time. They're all friendly, and they're a wonderful part of our life, especially. I actually sometimes go to Waltham and because one of the times I park there's an hour before, or I guess in the morning, and an hour at dusk that they're off leash. It's working in other communities. What I've seen is the same thing. Amazing groups of people that have come together that never have come together, never shared the community resources that we have. Mainly, I wasn't even going to come up here, but I just feel like I have to represent the even working dogs. We
I hope that you decide to give it a try. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello,
Hi.
my name is Samir Daoud. I live on Magellan Street. I've been there 25 years. And this year I got my first dog. And I take her for a run, or I ride the bike, but she's running. We go around the block a few times and we head to the park. And I would do this every other day, and then I met this group of people, and I'm like, oh, is this dog training? What are you guys doing? Can I let my dog off the leash? And they were like, oh, well, does your dog behave? I said, I don't know. So we tested it, and she stayed with the group of dogs as opposed to the soccer players or the baseball players, which that was my fear. Like, she was going to go check them out. So they all just romped together. And it's been about 2 weeks, and I keep going back, and it's always the same group, different people sometimes, but these dogs have so much fun, and they're playing in their own little community, just romping around, and they really don't show any interest to the soccer players or anything because they have each other. And I'm starting to learn my neighbors, and my extended neighbors walks out, and I'm like, oh, we have a lot in common. So it's really exciting for me, and I hope it continues.
Thank you. Any other members in the audience? I do think we have someone on Zoom with their hand raised.
I will mute myself. Hello. My name is Jill Landis, and I've lived in Capitola for 32 years. I have lived, I hope you can hear me okay. I'm having a lot of trouble hearing the people at my end.
I hear you.
Okay. I met this group of people with my current dog, who's a little pug. She goes on regular walks every day. She goes on bike rides every day. She goes to dog class. But the highlight of her day and my day is meeting at Monterey Park. And I do appreciate that we do have a dog park here in Capitola. I've been to that dog park, and for some reason, the dog park, I don't know if it's the bark chips or the location or the people that just put their dogs in and ignore them, but my dog just stands there and she doesn't interact with the other dogs, and she tends to go toward the gate like she wants to leave. So I do live near Monterey Park, and I've been there with this group of people, and I have to say that the dog acts together like a family. And it's interesting, when a new dog comes in, they go check it out, they evaluate it, and it usually works. I also want to say that my dog has been attacked 3 times by the same dog, who no longer, I don't see that dog around anymore, in 2 different locations. And so she has become fearful because of that. I've spent a lot of money on training for that. But when she's with the group at Monterey Park, she is not like that. It's just an amazing transformation, what it's done for her. And if we miss the park for a week, like we did last week when I was out of town, I noticed that she seems to need that. But anyway, we're asking for a trial period. We're asking for 1 hour. We're not asking to take over the park. And I just want to say that the dogs really seem to, their behavior is markedly better at Monterey Park than at any of the dog parks I've been to. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other Zoom hands? Council comments?
Sure. Yeah, I can start.
Okay.
I appreciate your honesty in coming out here and telling us what you all have been up to in the park and showing your guilty pictures. I too became a dog owner recently, and I think your fellow council members here, we're all dog owners, and we most certainly, I can't speak for them, I most certainly know what it's like to socialize a puppy and learning about all that.
You can speak for us.
Okay, so we hear you, I hear you. And I think that we need to do this and we need to do it right. We need to come up with a process. My question to staff is, you suggested to have council, identify this as a goal, but when, I can't remember when that would be.
So a goal-setting session usually comes up in February, so a couple of months.
Okay, that sounds like a long time from now for our community.
Right.
And I'm feeling as if these folks here would be interested maybe in participating in coming up with a real program. I don't know that this 1 hour a day is actually sufficient enough. I think that there's working family, there's a lot of different time frames that we could actually create something pretty cool as an opportunity for other dog owners, dog residents. And I also think we need to create a space that's safe for our dogs. I don't know if it's the park. If it is the park, we received a memo from our school superintendent about safety concerns and the students playing out there. And so I'd like to get their, blessing on some sort of thing we can create there at the park. I like that space. I think that space makes sense. It's highly utilized. But I really love the message from whoever said we must work together on this, because this is, I hear you loud and clear, and I'd really like to see something move forward. So I'm suggesting an ad hoc committee of a council member and the community. I know you are very busy, all of you, but if you could participate in some sort of working this out, and we can explore fencing. I don't know, what's the name of Hidden Park? What's the real name? I call it Cortez. If that, I know some community members might disagree if that's the space. I just want to look at all.
Way too small.
Way too small, Jill said. But I'd love to brainstorm on this. I live really close by. I'd like to walk my dog somewhere and see if he can socialize equally, he behaves. But I want to do this right. So I'm suggesting an ad hoc this evening and see if we can come up with a resolution or solution, an idea that we can most certainly create prior to our February goal setting. This is something we can do now, I think.
Great. Yeah, I'm supportive of that. I have a couple other comments. First, I think I want to address the comments that were made about the bark in the other dog park. Is there anything we can do about that? Can we replace it? Have we looked at alternatives just so that the other dog park is more, not called the other dog park? Not another dog park. The McGregor Dog Park. Is there a possibility for changing that wood chips out to something else, or have we considered that at all?
So it was actually put in at the request of dog users back several years ago.
Oh.
Because of the issues with the ground there being very muddy and stuff. Be happy to look around and see. I think chip show that a lot of dog parks have. Part of, getting vegetation to grow and stuff like that. But
wait, did you just say you were going to look around at this in your next 3 days? I'm sorry, Steve. I couldn't help it. 8 days. 8 days. All right, you got a new task in the next 8 days.
I'll pass some of those.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious because it's come up in a couple of the comments and it came up in some emails, and so I was just curious if that was something that we had any control or consideration over. So I appreciate that. Yeah, I agree that I am also a dog owner, and my dog cannot go off leash, unfortunately, because he's deaf and there's no way to recall him, but I would certainly like the opportunity for him to be able to socialize with other dogs in ways that he doesn't have now. And of course, in something like a dog park where there's an enclosed space, I could potentially let him off a leash because there's no chance that he's going to go running into the street or whatnot. I like the idea of an ad hoc committee because I do think it would be exciting to have an additional opportunity for dogs off leash in our community. As Councilmember Brooks said, I also have some concerns about the Monterey Park area as were laid out by the superintendent. I've taken the concerns of the school district in mind with other issues pertaining to that park, and I feel the need to do the same now. But again, I feel like, to echo what Councilmember Brooks has already said, that working together, I think we can come up with an option that really works for everybody. If not in that park, then somewhere in the city. So I'm supportive of that. And so I guess my question, Councilor Brooks, so are you recommending that we move forward with staff recommendation for tonight in addition to creating a ad hoc committee, or are you suggesting we continue this, or what's your recommendation?
Yeah, I think, I'm gonna ask council, I know Samantha's on the line, I might have missed, I'm thinking about ad hoc and the requirements. I think Samantha, are you on the line?
I
Oh,
am.
there you are.
Hi, I know.
Sort of a-
Hi.
Can you remind, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, the rules about ad hoc committees are confusing and frankly not very intuitive, if you ask me. An ad hoc committee can only be comprised of less than a quorum of the council. And so the only people who can be on an ad hoc committee are council members. It cannot include members of the community, which does not quite get at the goal that I hear the council expressing, which is to work with the community on this issue. And so I think you have a couple options. One is you could have staff work with the community on coming up with some options and returning to council with those options. That's probably the easiest, frankly. And if staff were having a meeting with the community about this issue, they could certainly let council know. And if less than a quorum of council wanted to attend that meeting, council, you certainly could. It just would not be an organized ad hoc committee. Another option is that if you wanted to form a committee with council members and community members, it would need to be a standing committee subject to the Brown Act, which that would be some work. And I don't know that that's quite where you're going. So I think those are your options. If you have questions about those, I may be able to help you get where you want to go. I see Jamie.
Yeah.
I might have a third option, which I think we could do, the first option that Samantha outlined, which is staff can work with the community, we can take a look and brainstorm some options, get feedback from the school district. And if one of the council members just wanted to volunteer to participate, we'd be happy to invite them and they can participate along with the residents.
It could be two, right?
Right, less than a quorum.
Sure, yeah. If you wanted to have two council members volunteer, that works as well, but you wouldn't be forming a committee.
Okay.
That would work. Okay. Who's that?
Yeah, so, and I understand that the community members have been working with staff and that you've done a little, that this process has begun, but I'd really like to see something come out of it and a recommendation come to council that, that's a little bit different than the current suggestion on the table tonight. So, I'll go ahead and make a motion to, well, I don't need to make a motion because we're not going to change anything on the ordinance. So I'd like to request that staff work with our community in reviewing and some ideas, and I'd like to volunteer myself and my cute puppy that conversation.
Do you want to be a part as well?
Or if you'd rather.
You want to rock, paper, scissors?
No, you do it.
Okay, all right, I'll volunteer to participate as well.
If I could suggest that so that it does not appear as if you're forming an ad hoc committee in violation of the Brown Act, I would suggest that perhaps when staff organizes the committee, that staff can send out an email to the council members who are able to participate. I understand that one has a conflict, and perhaps just the first two who respond can participate in the meeting.
Okay, so we would still keep it at 2.
So, yeah, we'll wait for that email from staff to see if there's any council members who would like to participate. Okay, thank you to the community members for coming out tonight.
Do we need to vote on creating that?
No?
Oh, no, it was just a recommendation to staff? Okay, cool.
Great. Yes.
So what we'll do is we'll reach out to, I believe it's David And I will rely on you then to help us get in touch with the larger group. Great, perfect. And
I
thank
just
you.
wanted to say one thing too. In the events that COVID brought upon us and all the negativity and all the bad things that came out of it, I appreciate you finding a silver lining. I think they were few and far between, but we need to highlight them. And I think being a part of this community is just that, you know, and thank you guys for starting this. I appreciate where you're coming from. I agree with some of the McGregor Park issues as well. My dog would lose it with the skateboarding, so that's not even an option. But yeah, I want this to be done right. I want it to be a nice concrete program because I think there's so many ways we could take it and it could work out really well, and it would just make the community even larger too, as far as for our puppies and for everybody else involved. So yes, as one dog owner to all the rest, I completely am in support, but yeah, I want to get this streamlined so we can dot all our I's and cross all our T's and make it safe and happy for everybody. So thank you for coming forward.
Thank you very much.
Yes, have a great night. Thank you. So no action has to be taken. Okay. We're good.
We need to call Jacques back in there.
Oh, yeah. Some other Jacques in.
I guess.
All right, we'll get Councilmember Bertrand back in. Hey, get in here. I'm like, I'm on the camera right now.
What?
Okay.
Are they okay?
That was weird. Welcome back.
Thank you. You guys are still alive.
We're here.
Yeah, okay.
Here.
Good, okay, no blood on.
I haven't
Okay,
taken.
good.
That will,
All right.
now that we're all back in action, we are moving on to item 6C, the lifeguard tower budget amendment. Our recommended action tonight is to approve a resolution to amend increasing the budgeted amount of $45,000 to $62,000. It's an increase of $17,000 for the purchase of a new lifeguard tower. And it looks like Nikki's going to present for us.
Yes, good evening again, Vice Mayor and council members. The item here before you is lifeguard tower budget amendment. So just to give a little bit of background, for the past 10 years, the city has contracted with the City of Santa Cruz Fire Department, who has provided tower services on our beach during the summer, independent of any of our own activities on the beach. That contract, our most recent contract, was a 2-year contract, and it had came to an end for 2022, or this past summer. Before the summer, the City of Santa Cruz had requested some adjustments to our contract, increasing the cost of that original contract or agreement due to other staffing logistics that we all experienced as a result of the pandemic, but also logistical challenges that have been increasingly complicated for the City of Santa Cruz providing services on our beach. So in order to ensure that the city had a solid plan, council, it was brought before council and ultimately approved in the budget to develop a city-operated lifeguard program, which we are currently in the process of doing. Recreation has added an additional staff member in order to progress that program. Now, a lifeguard tower is a critical tool for lifeguards, that it ultimately enables their function for their job. The city owns 2 fiberglass lifeguard towers. Tower 1, which is currently located closest to the bandstand area, that tower was acquired in 2019 from the city of Santa Cruz, and that tower is estimated to be about 20 years old. Tower 2, which is currently located closest to the wharf, was acquired in 2008 from California State Parks, and that tower is estimated to be about 35 years old. Marine safety agencies usually retain towers for about 20 years and then plan for their retirement after that time frame. In anticipation of the need to purchase new towers, the city in 2019 purchased 2 ramps that would connect to the Surveyor Senior Tower model, which is the current model for the tower located for Tower 1, which is the one that we acquired from Santa Cruz in 2019. That purchase was in order to spread some costs out of replacing these towers over a couple of years. So Tower 2 is currently in extremely poor condition. That condition has really degraded past the point of manageable repair, as well as ultimately the design of that tower is outdated and creates some additional safety issues that modern towers no longer have. So over the years, staff has attempted to identify a resource for getting towers donated or to purchase for a lower cost of the used tower. This is something that is rare to come by, as marine safety agencies rarely send out those towers for auction due to liability concerns, whereas their preference is to actually destroy the tower since it is at the end of its life. The tower that we acquired from the city of Santa Cruz was kind of a unique situation that was ultimately facilitated due to our shared service agreement, because it would be their lifeguards that were working the tower that they had donated to us. So the budget, this 22-23 budget, did include $45,000 to purchase a new tower and plan for the retirement of Tower 2. Currently in California, as well as internationally, Industrial Design Research, Inc. is kind of the sole source provider for lifeguard towers. It is most marine safety agencies in California use this particular vendor, and they also provide hosts in Australia, all over. And reaching out to begin the purchase for the tower, unfortunately, due to scarcity of materials as well as inflation, the overall cost for the tower increased by $17,000. That increase includes the additional cost of the tower as well as the shipping of the tower from Southern California. So, if approved, staff will increase the budget by $17,000 from the Equipment Internal Service Fund, and that would bring the total budget for this tower purchase to $62,000. So, my recommended action is to approve a resolution to amend the budget, increasing the amount of $45,000 to $62,000, an increase of $17,000 for the purchase of the new lifeguard tower. And with that, I'm available for questions.
Thanks, Nikki. Council questions?
One question.
Yes, go ahead.
Are these towers still, have they improved over time? Will the estimated lifetime increase now that they may have had a chance to improve them?
So in my conversations with the owner of the company, he definitely has assured that we could reasonably expect a 20-year lifespan. He does comment that it'll go beyond that, but he definitely guarantees that per retirement policies, we can expect that life.
So is the degradation due to the use on the beach or how we store it, or what is it ascribed to?
Mostly it's just the environment that, the coastal air degrades, those kind of materials over time. There's lots of corrosion on towers over time. They are fiberglass and fiberglass that are coated. And so sometimes that gets exposed, and over the years, Public Works has taken the time to sand and repaint our current towers in order to make sure that that fiberglass is not exposed for the staff that are working that tower. So they do require regular maintenance and checks before they're brought out on the beach. But, it's just a very common experience for any tower on the coast to be degraded over time.
Thank you.
Any public comment? On Zoom?
Yeah. Great. Go ahead.
Yes, hi, Jill Landis again. I have to say I'm rather shocked by the cost, especially when it got up to $62,000. I've had some major remodeling done on my house in the last 9 months, and it makes me really appreciate my contractor. I'm just curious, do other entities, is there any option of like building something that will, or does the tower have to be moved at the end of the season? It just seems like a 20-year lifespan for something that costs that much seems a little out of scale to me.
Please.
So before we had acquired the towers from California State Park, the city actually did have wooden towers that were constructed on our beach and maintained by Public Works. I believe that year that they were retired was 2002. And at that time, the city ultimately decided that to go with a constructed tower was really a better plan than to continue to have wooden towers that provide additional safety concerns and then have the city continue to maintain that is significantly more work than having a fiberglass tower that is stored in the courtyard and moved out for its seasonal use.
I will also note that this current tower that we're retiring is probably about 35 years old, and this current design, we presume, is going to be at a higher quality. So I think the 20-year lifetime estimate is at the low end. We've certainly been able to get more life out of our towers in the past.
Great, thank you. Any other online? Okay. Any other comments by council? Motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve the resolution to amend the budget, increasing the budgeted amount from 45 to 62,000 for the purchase of the new lifeguard tower.
I'll second.
Great, we have a motion and a second. We can roll call, please.
Councilmember Brown.
Aye.
Councilmember Brooks.
Aye.
Councilmember Bertrand.
I approve.
Vice Mayor Kaiser.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Passes unanimously. That will take us on to item number 7, which is
Before you get
Yes.
I just received a text from the BIA, and I wanted to share it with you before we left tonight. The test lights for the new Christmas lights were installed today.
Great.
And are available for reviewing in front of 201 and 207 Capitol Avenue.
Check them out now.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Steve. Okay. Adjournment. Item 7. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your patience with me as I was stepping in today for Mayor Story, and thank you all for attending. It means a lot. Have a wonderful evening.